Welcome back to another part of this project. Now we will be moving on to creating the header as I talked in the previous video. So if you guys haven't seen any of my previous video, please go check on my channel. I've created this playlist so you guys can start this project from scratch with me. If you're new to React, I have some tutorial there for the beginners, and let's go ahead and create the header for our app. And before I start creating the header, I'm gonna get rid of this stuff that I've showed in the previous video. So we are just gonna get rid of everything from the app. We will delete these component that we just used for an example, and that's it. Now it's clear, the page is blank again. And now we are going to go into the component. Since header is going to be a component which will be used throughout the app, or we're just going to render in the app component so it just stays on top of every page, we will go ahead and create a new file called header.tsx. Again, we are working with TypeScript, so we will use TSX. If you were using JavaScript, then you will use JS or JSX. And as I showed in the earlier video, I have this React snippet installed, so I can easily type React arrow function component export, and then it will give me a full component. Now before we actually move into creating the React, there are few things that we have to do. First of all, since I am using the MUI library for this header, we will have to go and install the MUI library inside our React project. So we have to open the terminal. This side is already running the app, so we'll split it, and now we'll go to Chrome and we'll go to MUI, and this is the MUI library. And what we're gonna go is click on installation, and here's the first one. If you're using npm, you can just copy this. If you're using yarn, you can copy this. I'm using both, mostly yarn, but I will be using npm for these installations because I know most of you out there will be using npm. So let's copy this command and we come back here, paste it here. Now let it install the MUI library. While it's installing that, there's one more thing we need to install. That was quick, it's been installed. Let's go have a look at it in package.json file. So guys, everything you install in a React app, it's you can see that inside the package.json. So all these dependencies get added here, and we are looking at MUI material. Forgive me if I call it MUI because I'm used to call it MUI. So MUI material, MUI material, it's the same thing for me. Let's go ahead, and now we need to install the icon as well. So we are gonna go MUI icons install. So here we have it's on the npm. This is like npm is a package manager, so you have everything over here. You can search it, any package you want to install, as long as you have npm installed in your machine. So let's install the second thing. And while this is being installed, okay, that was quick again, we got it here, MUI material, MUI icons material. Yes, we got both of these here. One more thing we need to install is React router DOM. So that we will actually install later when we get up to that part. For now, let's just go ahead and go to our header. Inside our header, we are going to import some stuff from MUI library, so which will be import. The first thing will be app bar. Now you can see the IntelliSense already recognized it. It's coming from MUI. What is app bar is basically this div here that containing everything inside that, and there's another I don't know what you call them, maybe another element or another library tag that you, or component actually, that you import from the MUI material, which is toolbar. and toolbar helps you have like color here. So we'll just have a look at it as we do it. I am going to render the header already. So remember guys, it's always a self-closing tag, and we haven't imported, so import header. So right now we don't see anything because we actually not actually showing anything here. So what we're gonna do is actually, because we gonna provide some custom styling as well, so now it's a good time to install styled component. So if you don't know what styled components is, style component is basically a CSS for React, another CSS library, style component. So style components is a library that allow you to write CSS in JS or TypeScript while building custom component in React.js. You will see that in a minute when we start creating the styles of our app using the style component, but not in JavaScript. We'll use TypeScript, but it doesn't really matter. You don't really have to provide types in for the style components. So we have to go, we can actually search here styled components. Here it is, npm I style components. I stand for install. Let's go ahead and install this. That was quick. Let's check our package.json. We have version 6 of styled components. Now that we have styled component, what we can do is import style from styled components. There's one more thing to keep in mind. Styled also comes from MUI material as well, so you don't want to mix it up with that. I think if you import styled, you can see it comes from here, but the one we want here is from styled components. Now that we have that, so for now let's go into our styles folder, and here we'll create a new file. We will name it header.modules.ts. This is how you name your styled component, guys. It's not a CSS file, it's a module. So header.modules.ts, and I will say it's like a TypeScript file. And what we do inside this is, let's say we're gonna wrap this inside a custom component, which will be, let's say, Navbar wrapper. This is what user defining it, right? It's up to you, whatever you want to name it. I like to name it Navbar wrapper because I'm just gonna have Navbar inside it. Right now we don't have anything about this because this is not coming from anywhere. I just typed it there. So what we're gonna do is, inside our style component, export Navbar wrapper equal to, actually we don't need this here because we are not defining the style component here. We actually need this inside this, because now we're gonna call this style here after this. So forgive me, we need const here, export const navbar, and now this comes here. So we're gonna call that styled, and then dot, and after this dot, whatever you provided is what you're telling React that how this thing should behave, or what this custom component should behave as. So if give it div, now that means this navbar wrapper would be a div. So everything inside this is inside this div element. So if we go div, and then you use these double quotations there next to your number one, I think, and then you press enter and close this. So that's it. That's how you actually create a style component. Now the header is still crying because we're not importing it. So we have exported it from here. The navbar wrapper has been exported. Now if you hover over this, you go to quick fix, it can import it. If you don't have your VS Code actually tuned that much, then what we can do is import navbar wrapper from, we're going to folder back, we're going to styles slash header.ts, the modules navbar wrapper from styles. Okay, so this should be wrapped inside curly braces. It's not an independent import, because we can import many things from here. There could be another const, another. So again, like I told you, this is behaving like a div now, but if you want it to behave like a p tag, you can just change this to p. So whatever you defined after the style, your wrapper becomes that. So that's it, the style component is set. Now that's also set. Let's go ahead and import more stuff from the MUI material. What we also need the typography. Typography is basically a p tag from MUI, which is responsible for rendering this text. And another one would be tab, actually tabs. Tabs are these tabs, these 4 tabs. It's like the unordered list and list tabs, and then we have tabs. That's each individual tab here, 1 2 3 4. And one more thing we need is a button, so that would be this button here. And now let's go ahead, format this. So if you're wondering what I'm doing here is on your MacBook I'm using Shift Control and F, which formats the document, and I think on Windows it's Shift Alt F, and if you want to do it you can just do it here. It just keeps things nice and tidy if you have Prettier installed in your VS Code. So next thing we're gonna do is we are gonna wrap everything inside the app bar to actually create that header. So here we have the app bar. Now we need is a toolbar. So what else goes in there is a toolbar. Let's see if anything on our page. No yet, because there's nothing to display within it. And toolbar would take typography. Inside this we can name our website Cinematica 2 in this case. There it is. As you can see, I refreshed it. I think my auto reload is not working. So we have this. Yeah, this is the toolbar, and app bar contains everything. In toolbar is showing that. Cinematica is the typography that I just gave it here. And next thing we want after the typography is tabs. This will be for the tabs, and now we need is a tab. I think tab is the self-closing, so we can provide it a label and you can name it home. So there it is, that's your home. And see, what would we usually do is like 1 2 3 4. So if I want to have like 4 section here, now playing popular TV shows. So there we have 4 tags, just like my app here, home, now playing popular TV shows. But this is not how we do it, because we are in React. We don't want to have repeat ourselves too much, so always try to follow those dry principle. Do not repeat yourself. We will remove everything from here. Actually, we'll keep just one. No, we'll remove everything here. We'll come up here. We will declare an array element, a list element, which will contain the information about our header tabs. So what we're gonna do is const. We will name it menu items, would be better. So menu, come on, menu items. Since it's a list and an array element, so that's the array. You open this curly braces. Now we wanna name our link. We'll just give it a name. You don't really need to provide any type type checking here. You don't need to do any type checking here because we will be providing them a string, so TypeScript already knows it's a string. And close it. We do that 4 times. Okay, now playing popular, and last one was TV shows, right? So what are we gonna do here? I'll just hide the terminal. So what we are going to do now, how we are going to render these 4 things inside our tab. So I'll show you how to do that. To do that, we use the map function inside React. So it's pretty much using a for loop, or not, yeah, kind of loop. So we remember, guys, you cannot write any code inside JSX openly, because it's just gonna be a text, because it's basically HTML. So inside, if you want to like write JavaScript code inside the JSX or TypeScript code, you have to do it inside the curly braces. So menu items, you can see it's calling there. Map is the function that loops through things, and now we're gonna give it an attribute that we will use later to access everything from menu items. So this attribute that we'll provide here will access these 3 or 4 things, or anything that inside this array list. So let's give it nav, and we need one more thing inside this, which will be index, which is like a key prop. So when you are mapping something in React, you definitely need a key prop, otherwise you will get console warnings inside your console window here. Right now there's so many warnings, but I'll show you why is it important to use the key props. So then we will use the arrow function here. Now what we will do inside here is we'll use tab with a self-closing tag, and now we are gonna get this, and then this is gonna get these. And how's that gonna happen? Is label equal nav, and if you press dot, you will see it has access to the name from the this array element from the list, array list from menu item, and we can click it here. And if I go back here, there you go, you can see that there's four of them are rendered at once. So we're not defining it like 4 times, and we're not giving it a different name. We just created this array element. We are accessing the array element here using this map function, this whole thing. And now, as I told you before, if we go to console, there you go, we get a warning: each child in a list should have a unique key prop. So that's why we always need to have a key prop. So what we will do, we will provide it a key, and we'll give it an index. So if we refresh this, so that the warning is gone, but we have now some other warnings here. Tabs component invalid. You can provide one of the following values: 0, 1, 2, 3. The tabs component is invalid. What does it mean? Alright, I think the reason we are getting these warnings or these errors in console is because it's saying the value provided to the tabs component is invalid. Okay, my bad. We are not actually supposed to use tabs here, because tab is used to show which tab is currently active. But what we're gonna do is we will actually do it the other way. We're gonna use nav links, and I think if I do that, that value is, if you can see the error is gone with the tabs. If I provide it as 0, then it's gonna you can see that home is now active by default, right? So the color is a bit different. Let's see if it has color prop. It does have text color. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have red, it would have these colors, primary. So let's see secondary. There you go. So we're still getting some errors here. True for non-boolean attribute code. If you want to don't pass a string. I'm pretty sure these are not really relevant. Yeah, they are not. They're just happening during the hot reload. So you can see the tab is used here for like currently showing which tab is active. Now if I have 0, which means the first element is active, because the array element always starts with 0, and if I go 3, then it should be the last one. There you go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove tabs, and instead of tab we actually gonna use link from the React router, and that we'll do later. For now, let's create the navbar and make it look nice. I'm gonna close the console. Now we don't have any errors. Now the next thing we are gonna do is add a button to this. So after the toolbar, after the tabs, it was supposed to be after the tabs, so let's wrap it inside a div for now. Everything is working, and after this div we are gonna call the button from the MUI. I think the button isn't a self-closing tag, so whatever you name your button goes inside this. Okay, the button isn't showing because I haven't provided any values how the button should look like in the variant. So the variant of the button should be contained. These are the variant of the button, and I think it's like outline, text, contained. These are the one that exist on this, and color should be secondary. Now we can see the button here because we have to give it a contain. Let's see what are the other ones here. Other variants are outline, so let's try outline. So this is outline, it's an empty, so it's not containing any color. Let's go back to that, and the color we want to give is info. If you don't know the colors, you can see they exist over here. If you were using JavaScript, you could just give it like red, and JavaScript wouldn't even know that it doesn't support that color. But with TypeScript, you can see that we get the error straight away. So info, yeah. Okay, so now that we have that navbar, now we need to style it and align it. So how do we style this? We will go back to the code, and now we're gonna style it inside here. So what I like to do is split my CSS file and my component like this, so we can keep track of both of them. And what we want to achieve here is this, and so to do that, what we are going to do is, let's just refresh this. So inside our navbar we are gonna provide it some default styling, but before we do that, we're gonna provide it some classes here to these elements, to these components that we are fetching from MUI. So first of all, what we're gonna do is we're gonna give SX some styling by default. So app bar has this another prop that called SX, which is for styling the app bar, and we are gonna provide it some padding, and whatever you style here, it has to be inside the brackets, quotations. So let's give it 5 pixels. Okay, you can see that worked. Try to give it more to see if actually working. 15 pixels. Now the app bar looks bigger, but we're gonna keep it to like 10. I think over here I have like 5, and then I have padding to every element as well. So let's keep it there. And the next thing that we want to provide the app bar is a background color. So we want to change this background color to this color. So I found this color on Google. It's called the hexadecimal color, which is #0633970. So now it's like a darkish blue color, so we're gonna keep that there. And what else we're gonna do is now we're gonna customize this logo. So we're gonna provide typography a class here. There are many other way of doing this, but I'm going to the easiest way for like the beginners. So we can just provide a class name and name that class logo. And what else need a class here? I think this div, we will later change this div to navlink, but for right now we will use this. Actually, we won't change it as navlink because we removed the tab from there. The navlink would get added inside the map function. So we're gonna change add a class name here, and we'll name them navlinks. And we can also remove the tabs. I just remember that we're not using this anymore. And excuse me guys. And then what else we need a class here for? We should give a class to tabs. Actually not tabs, I keep saying tab. To tab. So the tab is the links, right? So this div is the nav links. This is the individual link, which are 1, 2, 3. And we would also give a class to our button, and that will call login btn. And now how do we access these classes in here? As this navbar wrapper has access to everything inside this, so we can simply just call the class name here. So we're gonna call logo class, and we're gonna check if it's actually working. So we're gonna provide logo some attractive color. That's what I do. I always provide a color that stands out. Yep, so that's working. And let's get into styling the logo for now. So we're gonna provide logo a color which would be just white, and a font size of 2 rem, maybe too small. Reason I'm using rem is I think 32 pixel is equal to 2 rem. You can see nothing changes because 1 rem is equal to 16 pixels. So rather than using like 48 pixel, I'll just write 3 rem or rem or whatever you want to pronounce it. And then we'll add some letter spacing, maybe 2. And let's try to add a background color to this, which would be linear gradient color. I'm not sure is that how you spell gradient, but let's go from left to right. So we're gonna go right, and the color we're gonna give it is another color that I go from Google. It's not what I invented. EAFF0. Why the color isn't working? Hashtag EAFF00, yeah, and comma. The second color would be hashtag F8D4D4. And if we go here, nothing is applying here because we need WebKit background clip. Where is background clip? Background clip to text, and we also need WebKit text fill. Text fill color, which will be transparent. Okay, so you can see that logo is gone from there. I think I made a mistake here somewhere, so let's see what it is. And looks like the mistake is color is white is here. We don't want to give it a background color, we want to just give it a background. So there it is, the color similar to this. I have an imported font, but yeah, let's just do that while we are doing this. We go to Google fonts, and the color that I'm using for the font is color. The font I'm using for that is shadow into light. Shadow into the light, you can see. Let's try to use a different one this time. not try to keep it as exactly as it is. Should we use this? So this only comes in 400 regular, so you click over here. Let's go removal because I already had some font added there. So you go here, you select this color, and you can see it here. And how do we actually import this color into these fonts? Let's just do it together so we have all the fonts at once and we can import them together. The second font that I have is Esme, so we got this one. This one is also regular, let's get that as well. And third one is the main one, which is Roboto. Let's get that as well. Roboto, we want it in at least 400, and if you want to make it bolder you can use 500, 700. And what's the other color that I've got? Let me just have a look at it. I mean the font I have got Ecdecima. This is the font that is being used for rating, I think, here. So let's get that as well. So how do we use that in React app? We now have a link. We can just copy this link simply from here, and then we can go back to a React project. We go to index.html, and over here inside this link, after the meta tag, we can actually paste this here. So now we have access to those fonts. Let's have a look at that. If we go here, and which one we want to use here is the shadow cursive, so let's copy that. There it is. Now the font is working, and we can even try the different one if you like. We can try this one, Roboto. So you can add that here. There it is. Now it's changed to Roboto, but we want to keep that one. And since we have added that color, I have to copy it again. I'm just gonna copy this so I don't have to come back to this page, and gonna keep it commented out here which fonts I have. So if you don't know how the multi-line comments work, this is how it works. And inside this I'll paste these. So we're gonna use this one for now. And as you can see, let me get rid of this. This is too big, so we are gonna make the font color 2rem because the font itself is quite big. And maybe 2.5. Yep. So that's the design for that. Now let's move on to the next one. So the next thing we want to style is the links. So nav link. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna give them a margin from the left to auto, so they are aligned in the center. So let's do that. I go ahead and let's call nav links and login button. What's happening here is that I'm giving both of these a common style, so whatever I'm applying to nav links is also applying to login button. And since I want to give them margin left auto, so you guys can see now it has some space in it and it moved to the center, and that's how it works. I'm gonna make the logo a little bit smaller because that's occupying too much space to the left. Let's name it Cinematica 2, just Cinematica. Actually, we'll keep it 2. So now that we have those in center, the next thing we want to style is the nav links. So let's go to nav links itself. Nav links, and what we're gonna give nav links is text that actually, I think that would be the link. So for nav links, we are not using the active class right now, but let's just provide some style for the active class. So we are gonna do is we're gonna provide it border top color 2px solid red. Actually that's gonna be in each link, then we provide the link here. This will be done later when we have the nav link here. Yeah, apologies for this one, because we're gonna add a React router here, and then based on the React router, whichever tab you click on, let's say I click on popular, so you are on popular, just like this one here. Right now I'm now playing, so you see that top red and bottom red. That will be done when we actually install React router and we start navigating. So we're gonna leave that one for now. I'm just gonna leave it empty, and then we can just style the links, which means we can style the text, these four. And for these we're gonna use the font family, the Esme, font size, let's try to make it 12 pixel, too small. Let's make it 20 pixels. Okay, that looks better. Color will be this color that I randomly came up with by trying different colors, so it will be FFFFFE4. Oh, not this F. It's just a slightly off from the white color, nothing really special. And we're gonna give it padding 0. My bad, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna keep it with some padding. So that's how it is. If we like add a hover class over this, you can actually add a nice hover effect on this. So we can do that like this and hover. So you can like change background color to red just for testing purposes. There it is. But we don't do that right now. We change it later on. We're now just lining up things so we can actually style the app later on properly when everything is there, when we have nav links at React router. So now we have this navbar, and right now it's not responsive at all. As you can see, now we have to make the text small as soon as we hit 1060 pixel. So we're gonna add media queries to this to make it actually responsive. So how you do that in style component, as you can see, I'm still inside the navbar component, and what we're gonna do, add media. We're not gonna use screen here. Max width 1060 pixels, and the logo size, we are changing font size to 1.6 RAM. So we're gonna check if that's happening. Yep. See, as soon as I hit it 1060, it changes. And we're gonna also change the size of links and login button. So the login button, links and login btn font size, let's change it to 12 pixel. Because I think that's enough. Once we touch 800, we will have the hamburger menu pop up. Let's see in this case. So the hamburger menu pops up at 900 after 9. Yep. So we have to make it a bit more smaller when we actually shrink, because we have a long text here. Over here I only have Cinematica and it's quite long. So I need to add another query at 800. So let's copy this one, copy it down. Actually no, we don't really need it. If it's happening at 900, then we don't really need it. And that's it. Now we are gonna do is we're gonna make our header responsive. So we have that hamburger menu accessing here,